In the winter of 1959, 9 experienced hikers disappeared in the northern Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. Weeks later, their bodies were found scattered across the snow. Some were barefoot, some were severely injured. One was missing her tongue. Their tent had been cut open from the inside. No one could explain why. More than 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most disturbing, unsolved cases in modern history. Not because of what was found, but because of what wasn't. No clear cause, no final explanation, only silence. The expedition was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old radio engineering student from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. Dyatlov was not reckless. He was known as methodical, cautious, and prepared. The group included 8 other hikers, 7 men and 2 women, all in their early 20s. Every member of the expedition was experienced in winter trekking. Several were certified ski instructors. Some had survived previous expeditions in even harsher conditions. This was not a group of amateurs. Their goal was to reach Otorten Mountain, a difficult but achievable route. The trip was classified as Grade 3 difficulty, the highest level at the time. Challenging, but not suicidal. Before leaving, Dyatlov told friends and family he would send a telegram once the group returned. That message never came. The group departed in late January, travelling by train and truck before beginning the ski trek on foot. Early journal entries show good spirits. Photographs taken during the trip show smiling faces, laughter, and camaraderie. There was no sign of panic, no indication of conflict. One member, Yuri Yudin, turned back early due to illness. That decision saved his life. He would later become the sole surviving witness to the group's plans and mindset. The remaining 9 hikers continued on. They were never seen alive again. When the expected return date passed, there was little concern at first. Winter expeditions were unpredictable. Delays were normal, but as days turned into weeks, concern grew. Search parties were organised, students, volunteers, and eventually the Soviet military. On February 26th, nearly 3 weeks after the group vanished, searchers made a discovery. They found the tent. The tent was located on the slope of Kholat Shakal, a mountain whose name translates to Dead Mountain. It was still standing. That alone was strange, but what they found inside was worse. The hikers' boots were there, their coats, their food supplies, everything they would have needed to survive the night. And then there were the cuts. Large slashes had been made through the side of the tent. Investigators later confirmed the cuts were made from the inside. Footprints led away from the tent down the slope. They were not chaotic. They were not panicked. They were spaced, measured, deliberate. Some footprints were barefoot. Others wore only socks. The temperature that night was estimated to be below -30 degrees Celsius. No one leaves a tent like that without a reason. The first 2 bodies were found near the tree line. They belonged to Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko. Both were barefoot, both were wearing only underwear. A small fire had been built nearby. The branches above them were broken high up on the tree, as if someone had climbed it. Their hands were burned, their skin damaged by frost. They had not died immediately. They had tried to survive. Further up the slope, between the tree line and the tent, searchers found 3 more bodies: Igor Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolmogorova, and Rustem Slobodin. They were positioned as if they were trying to return to the tent. Slobodin had a skull fracture, not immediately fatal, but serious. None of the 3 had enough clothing. Hypothermia was listed as the cause of death, but the positioning raised questions. Why leave the tent? Why attempt to return? Why split up? Four members of the group remained missing. Search efforts continued into the spring. In May, as the snow began to melt, the final bodies were discovered. They were found in a ravine, buried under several meters of snow. Their injuries were severe. Lyudmila Dubinina had broken ribs and was missing her tongue. Semyon Zolotaryov had crushed ribs. Nikolai Thibaut Brignol had a massive skull fracture. Alexander Kolevatov showed signs of internal trauma. Doctors later stated the injuries were consistent with high impact force, comparable to a car crash. There were no external wounds, no signs of a fight, no evidence of another group. Medical examiners struggled to explain the injuries. The force required to break ribs and skulls was immense, yet the skin was intact, no defensive wounds, no torn clothing. Some clothing items were found to be radioactive. The levels were not lethal, but they were unexplained. Soviet authorities offered few details. Files were sealed. Witnesses were discouraged from speaking openly. The case concluded with a single phrase: the hikers died due to a compelling natural force. That explanation satisfied no one. Over the decades, theories multiplied. Avalanche one of the most popular explanations, but the slope angle was shallow, the tent was still standing. No avalanche debris was found. Military testing. Some believe the hikers encountered secret weapons tests. Reports of glowing orbs were recorded in the sky around the same time, but no proof ever surfaced. Infrasound, a rare wind phenomenon that may induce panic. Possible, but it does not explain the injuries. Animal attack, no tracks, no torn clothing, something else. Theories range from a criminal involvement to something unknown. None fully explain all the evidence. In 2020, Russian authorities reopened the case. Their conclusion: an avalanche, a slab avalanche triggered by weather conditions. The hikers panicked. They cut the tent. They fled. But critics pointed out: no avalanche signs, no urgency in footprints, no explanation for injuries. The mystery remained. The area was renamed Dyatlov Pass. Hikers still visit. Many report a strange feeling. Not fear, but emptiness. As if something interrupted the natural order. Not violent, just unfinished. 9 people entered the mountains that winter. None returned. No single theory explains every detail. The tent, the footprints, the injuries, and perhaps that's what makes this case endure. Not because it's sensational, but because it refuses to be closed. The Dyatlov Pass Incident is not a ghost story. It's a record of something that happened and was never fully understood. And sometimes the most disturbing stories are the ones that end without answers. Subscribe for more real stories that never found them.